Hi there, it's Jared Hamilton with the Hamilton Group of Cherry Creek Mortgage. Welcome to another edition of Java with Jared. I've got my coffee here. Hope you have yours. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. And I don't know about you guys, but I am really looking forward to some fireworks next week. So in advance, happy 4th of July, and I hope you guys have a wonderful one. So I wanted to let you know what was going on with interest rates this week, what happened, and also I wanted to give you some important graphs and talk to you about something that I think we need to talk to our clients about, which is an opportunity of a lifetime. So here's what happened with interest rates. Rates finished the week a little bit better than where they ended up last week. Not a major movement, but a little bit of improvement over last week. We did see rates approach the all-time highs, all-time lows. The bond prices were at the all-time highs almost, which causes the yield to go down. And so the higher the price of the bond, the lower interest rates are, and we saw the all-time almost lows of interest rates approach again. And we're off that a little bit because of what happened in Europe, but I'll get to that in a second. So on Tuesday, we saw consumer confidence come in. It was a little bit lower than expected, not much, but still relatively low consumer confidence. It's not dismal, but it's not really, really high. So the higher the consumer's confidence is, the more money they spend, and the greater the prospects for economic growth, which could put a strain on interest rates. But consumer confidence is pretty low, and interest rates will benefit from that. We also saw durable goods come in at 1.1%, which was double than the expectations of 0.5%. So that showed a little bit of strength. We also saw retail home sales come in, and that showed a whopping 5.9% increase. Expectations were only for a 0.5% increase, but it increased 5.9%. So it's a huge pending home sale jump. And if the Denver market is indicative of what's going on in the nation, I know we are just swamped, and you guys are too, and everything's really, really busy. And so that showed out in the numbers. We also saw GDP come in, and that was about as expected. It didn't show real huge positive movement. It was about 1.9%. And today we saw the PCE come out, which is a measure of inflation. And again, those are really, really important because the higher the inflation, the more pressure that puts on for higher interest rates. And inflation is pretty darn low. We saw the PCE, which is personal consumption expenditures, only show a growth of 0.1%, which was right as expected. So here's now what's going on with Europe. Last night, or Thursday night, there's a big meeting, and Spain is going to get a little bit of a Band-Aid relief. So the market is, the bond market, stock market is liking that. So that's putting a little pressure on interest rates. But this is a Band-Aid, and this really isn't going to last much more than a few days until these problems in Europe really keep going. There's really no short-term fix. So bottom line is interest rates are still phenomenal, and now's a great time to lock into a really low interest rate. So here's the graphs that I have included this week. What I wanted to show you, or what give you this, comes from a service that I subscribe to called Keeping Current Matters, and there were 3 studies that were released on projected appreciation rates in the nation for home prices this year, 2013, and 2014. And they all say about the same thing, that this year it's going to be relatively flat. 2012, we're going to show modest increases, and that's going to strengthen into 2014. It's nothing dramatic. Again, we're going to be pretty flat in 2012. 2013 will show about on average, 1 to 2% increase in 2014, and then in 2013, and then in 2014 we'll get to approaching the normal range of appreciation in the nation, which is about 3.5%, but we're going to be tracking at a mid 2 to mid 3% range according to these studies. So they all say the same thing. So if you're talking with your buyers and they want to buy a larger house or their first house, it's better to do it now if prices are going to increase so they can ride that up. Combined with interest rates being really, really low, so I'm giving you this graph, and the fact that it's actually cheaper in many markets, according to this other study in a graph, to buy a house as opposed to rent, the fact that you can buy a house at already low levels at really, really low interest rates is an opportunity of a lifetime. and we can relay what's going on in Europe to what consumers should do today. You know, what we're seeing in Europe is a busting of a debt balloon, and we saw it happen in Greece, and we saw it happen in Ireland, and also in Portugal. What happened is that debts were high, and eventually that caught up to them to where debts were so high that the market determined they can't pay it back. And what happens is then, because there's a risk of default, interest rates go up. And when interest rates go up, that makes it harder to pay back these debts, and it just all of a sudden implodes. We're seeing it now maybe happening in Spain. Italy is going to be next. Then there's France, and there's even Germany that's going to probably experience this problem because they are going to have to pay for all these other countries that they are economically tied to. And one day it's going to happen in the United States, I think. Unfortunately, our debt is at a level that just cannot be sustained. We are at another $1.3 trillion debt underfunding for this year. And unless Congress really acts, the United States is going to be under the same issue. And once Europe goes through this issues, all eyes will be on the United States. And what's going to happen is interest rates are going to go up. So if someone can finance an interest rate, a new purchase with interest rates for 30 years in the high 3s or low 4s versus when rates go up 4, 5, 6 years down the road to 5, 6, 7, 8%, they're financing it at half of what they could. And it's an opportunity of a lifetime. And use these graphs and use that information to talk to your clients that are thinking about buying a house and can afford it and have good jobs and are doing the right thing in terms of their overall economic life. They're not stretching themselves too much. Now is really the time to buy because we will see home prices. They're probably at their lows for at least right now, and interest rates will go up, and it's going to cost them more in the long term. So let them know of the opportunity of a lifetime. Hope that information helps. Again, hope you guys had a great week this week, and I hope you have a fantastic week next week. Again, happy 4th of July, America, and we'll talk to you soon. If you have any questions, please give me a call. Thanks for joining Java with Jared. Bye-bye.